institutions closer towards attacking today's threats. So the first thing that we've talked about is definitely an enterprise-wide risk management framework that encompasses systems and tools and data. The silos are no longer a possibility today. There has to be a complete holistic approach, and that approach has to be reflected in terms of what the systems are, how they talk to each other, the common framework for compliance, and also the exchange and integration of data. The second most important pillar is the data analytics of all kinds, whether advanced analytics, link analysis, visualization, predictive analytics, and also artificial intelligence. Today, all of the compliance solutions we have in place have to be able to equip the compliance teams with the insight necessary into the data to go beyond simple sanction screening or simple profiling and transaction and rules-based and scenario-based transaction monitoring systems. Big data has to be something that is leveraged, dominated, and worked with, and that has to get out of the realm of being a challenge and into the realm of being a wealth of information that can be extracted and become intelligent information. And finally, very important, the nature and the evolution of the architecture, the cloud architecture, and the possibility today to have a hybrid cloud, which really works in favor of the privacy, in favor of the data protection. So these are all the key ingredients of a new Compliance 2.0 framework. And as we say, necessity is definitely the mother of invention, and therefore we will be talking about how, in terms of systems, this can be installed, can be running in a financial institution or a bank. The first thing we are going to look at is connected data and connected systems. And we see more and more our customers coming to us whereby the need is there to really bridge the silos of data in the bank, and we put our systems and our tools to help our customers to integrate data from various systems, disparate systems, getting them into one big data warehouse, and then being able to look and really leverage the power of having one location and get and extract all kinds of analytics from that. The other thing that we can definitely leverage in order to get out of the silos is put analytics across many data systems that already exist in a bank, and this is a much faster way. Instead of doing ETL and getting all of the data in a warehouse, and it also comes with money and a budget, we can just leverage, if you will, the power of analytics. At our company, at EastNets, we teamed up with IBM, and we're using their i2 tool to really go across all of the solutions that we offer our customers, looking at all their systems, and in order to get very, very intelligent analysis of those, of the data and the information there. Starting from our sanction screening systems, when we put the i2 tools there, we can look again at the real violations, we can look at the false positives, and we can help the customers have a much deeper level of analysis of their data. Next, we can combine various compliance systems together, so we don't stop at one, but we can combine more than one solution and really look at the customer's data in, if you will, in integration between the two, and the data flow from one system to another, and then get, again, much more insight, much more intelligence out of the information and the data sets that are sitting in the two systems. And this we are doing across all of our solutions, from KYC to transactions monitoring to sanction screening, all of them working together in order for the customer to be able to extract a lot of intelligent information. And we will see some examples of things that the compliance officers can be looking at. So in essence, this is driving towards a single view of the risk that the institution has to be looking through. Not silos, but a holistic risk approach that brings to the fore, to the compliance officers, a complete view. The second point we have talked about is the analytics, and this, again, it spans really a lot of tools. There is a lot going on in the market, but the combination of analytics with the traditional AML software is now key and a must in order to help the compliance officers look beneath the surface and look and find hidden links and suspicious connections and do entity and link analysis. A lot of the terms that we have used here are really levied by the regulator. This is not something that the compliance team needs to do as an extra step anymore. This has become actually a requirement by the regulator, and it is very much a need to identify all of the links between the customers, the transactions, the accounts, etc. Identifying networks that are not easily recognizable is now, again, a driver for installing link analysis systems, for installing visualization tools, all of the tools that enable the compliance officers to work with something more than just the traditional dashboard that gives the transactional, the detections and alerts. These tools display a visual of possibilities of hidden threats, possibilities of links that could be suspicious or of a suspicious nature. These matches are really pointing out to possibilities, and there is a lot of analysis that has to go with that. So now we find banks of all sizes really going into financial investigation, and sometimes there is a whole unit, an FIU, that is dedicated for financial investigation, and sometimes it is just at the level of the software and complementing the compliance work with that. But again, this is all demanded by the regulators, and if we read closely within the fine print, which eventually translates into actual penalties that go and are levied on the financial institutions, the latest FATF simply says that even unusual patterns that have no apparent economic or visible lawful purpose. And this in itself means that the compliance officer today finds himself or herself in a situation where the apparent violations are not enough, and they are demanded to do more, and they actually get fined if they do not find this kind of suspicious behavior that's underneath the surface. So today, charts or link analysis solutions can equip compliance officers with a variety of tools to really help them dissect their transactional information. And we just give you here some examples. Of course, the sky is the limit, and this is always something, it's a tool in the hand of the compliance team in order to work with and configure and customize and tailor to their needs. But basically, a lot of insight can be derived out of those tools. Customer-customer connections with indirect transactions, with indirect dealings between customers that would never be spotted with a traditional transaction monitoring tool. Customer account connections, again, that are never linear and that are with what we call, again, degrees of separation. And depending on the sophistication of the systems, you can go up to several degrees of separation, and this kind of image can be unearthed, and this kind of possible links can be pinpointed to the compliance officer. Transaction flows, very important, because again, with traditional transactions monitoring solutions and with traditional dashboards with detections and alerts, it's very hard to find the flows that are targeting an end point, which is never there in a transaction that is straight through. So again, such link analysis system dissects the picture and brings those hidden links and hidden flows to the surface for further investigation and for recognition of what is happening that is not apparent, all of the suspicious links and networks that could be there. And of course, risk scoring is a big deal, and again, this is a busy kind of chart, but it can be simplified. There is drill down, there is simplification, and there is all kinds of risk calculation that goes with that. So these were just some examples for what we use link analysis and visualization for. But of course, again, this is a very customizable tool. It's a search and analysis tool, and it's really up to the compliance team to put it to work. Another very good use of that tool is changes in customers' sensitive data. And this is something that needs to be tracked. It's not always easy to be tracked and has to be unearthed and again looked at very closely whenever it happens. It comes very important for illegal activity of all sorts, but comes to mind FATCA is one very simple and important use for that kind of behavior. Ownership and shareholders, this has been brought into focus lately a lot because of people doing all kinds of transactions and hiding behind legal entities. Well, if you use such tools, you can clearly see the relationships between people that are across several legal entities. And this can definitely be driven by whether the name, whether it's an individual, whether it's just a legal entity, or any entity of any kind, a vessel, whatever. So all of these bits of information that are connected can again be clarified. Whitelists, any software for AML works with whitelists, and definitely it is important to look and scrutinize these lists, whether they are good guys or whitelists. It's very important to periodically see who is where and how these interactions are happening for the bank's customers. And ultimately, such tools can streamline and make it very easy to look at all of this information. So these were all examples about advanced analytics and how important it is to work with that. Finally, big data is key because, again, as we talked, all of the things you have seen prior were within the bank's or the financial institution's database. But with big data, there is definitely the possibility to put social networks to work. Something like KYC and onboarding of customers, social networks and media are definitely key and have to be factored into the equation. With advanced analytics tools, this is achievable quite easily, whether it is structured or unstructured data, and using the power of visualization, again, this can be streamlined and can be put in a very easy manner for the compliance officers. And this is something that, you know, with the powerful tools for reporting, is a very good and easy to use dashboard for compliance officers. Finally, the hybrid cloud. This is in terms of privacy, of information, data protection. Hybrid cloud is very important and has to be looked at in terms of any compliance 2.0 sort of program. We work with cloud at EastNets, and we see a lot more intake and interest in cloud solutions. Just to close, a final word, and this is what we tell all our customers and the compliance officers are there. There is nothing that can replace the analytics of the human mind. The human mind is ultimately the tool that does the best analytics. With all of the advancement, with predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, and all the rest of it, the human mind remains the ultimate tool. And this is just something from the BBC special series about what they call super recognizers. These are people who can recognize faces. And facial recognition is definitely an important tool today and is creeping into the compliance with the video, with everything that's incorporated as unstructured data. Well, these guys can beat any computer, can beat any automation system. So a hybrid between machine and man is the ultimate solution for sure. Thank you very much for your attention.